Okay. At long last, we've got the tech sorted out. We've got the internet sorted out. My producers have made sure that everything's running to plan. And tonight, here we are, the first and inaugural Smarty Pantz trivia quiz. My name's Sean Wallace, and I've teamed up with some of the best quiz writers in the world to bring you what I hope to be an exciting, wonderful, fun-free quiz. No, fun-filled quiz, not fun-free. We want it fun-free, don't we? No, fun-filled. Anyway, hopefully you would have been able to actually go to the Smarty Pantz Facebook page to actually download the answer sheets. If you haven't, just simply get yourself a pen and paper. But if you have managed to actually download the answer sheets, when we come to look at the topics for tonight, you just simply fill out what the topics are, and you can play a joker in relation to one of those rounds, which will double your points for that particular round. Okay, so let's go to the quiz itself. As you can see there, round one's going to be on famous couples. Round two is going to be on the old stuff. Round three is going to be on sport and games. Round four is called How Many? And I'll explain the wipeout round briefly. What that is that you'll be given a series of questions. Once you get a wrong answer to any of the answers you give, you'll be simply wiped out. So the best thing to do is to put your certain answers first and the sort of dodgy ones towards the bottom. Round five is going to be on food and drink. Round six is going to be potluck. Round seven is Oh Canada. That's to celebrate the 1st of July, which was the day in which Canada celebrates its founding. And the final round is going to be on TV and camera. And as you can see, there's going to be a trivia teaser round. At the end of each round, what will happen is that we will be setting you a trivia teaser on a person, place, or thing. If you get it right first time, you'll get 10 points. But at the end of each round, the questions will get slightly easier, but the points will be deducted to reflect that fact. Okay, so that's the quiz. A couple of things. Please, please, please. This is a fun quiz, so try not to put your answers in the comments page because you'll simply be ruining it for everybody else. And we have what's known as the Smarty Pantz strikeout. So no inappropriate comments. If there is an inappropriate comment, then we'll simply block you from any future participation in this quiz. We want it to be fun. We want it to be exciting. We want everybody to have a good time because that's what quizzes are all about. So let's now turn our attention to the first of tonight's topics, which is on. That's the beginning. Let's go. Round one is on celebrity couples. As you can see, the curtain's about to open. So we've concealed, as you can see, one face of each celebrity couple. You only have to identify the faces that we've hidden. So hopefully if you recognize one half of the celebrity couple, the face which is hidden, you will be able to make an identity, hopefully. So let's go for the first question of the inaugural Smarty Pantz trivia quiz. Okay, so that's the first image. Who's that? Do you recognize? We're looking at the person in the foreground, not the background. If you recognize the person in the foreground, then we are looking for the face which is concealed in order for you to get the 1 point. Number two. So have a good look. That was a sort of celebrity wedding couple. That's all I'm about to say in relation to that question because I'm not here to actually give you clues. It's for you to actually try and work out the answers. Okay, moving on to number three. Number three. Do you recognize the lady who's pushing the pram? Does that give you a clue? But we're looking for the identity of the person whose face is concealed. Number four. Here we go, number four. Number four. Give you some time to actually look at the image there to work it out. Who is that person? Do I recognize that face? Is that a person I know? Could be, could not be, but hopefully you'll be able to work it out as you look at that image. Moving on now swiftly to number five. Number five. Look at the build of that person whose face is concealed. Does the hair give it away in relation to who that person is? Do you recognize the spouse or partner next to the person whose face is being concealed? Number six. Number six. Who's that? This might be slightly harder, but hopefully the year will give it away, and the face itself will be some indication as to the identity of the face of what's being concealed. Moving on to number seven. Number seven. That might be slightly challenging if you're taking part. Who is number seven's face being concealed in that image? Give me some time to think about it. Moving on to number eight. Number eight. Is the person on the right of the picture a recognizable face? It will help you identify the image of the face that is being concealed. Number 9 is being revealed right now. Number 9, as you can see. Who is number 9? And the final image to complete the round, number 10. I think that might be the easier of the 10 images you've seen so far. Do you recognize the female on the right? If you do, it may make it easier for you to actually recognize the person whose face is being concealed. Okay. So that's the end of the round. How did you find it? Hopefully you would have found it straightforward. If you played your Joker, then obviously you can double your points for that round. Okay, let's now move our attention. Okay, let's move our attention swiftly. That's me again. Let's move our attention swiftly now to the trivial teaser. As I say, the trivial teaser, as I explained, here's the rules in relation to that. The quicker you get it, the more points you'll get. The clues get easier as you go. You get one guess for every round. Write your answers at the bottom of your answer sheet, and if you've managed to actually downloaded the answer sheets from the Smarty Pantz Facebook page, then simply write your answer at the bottom. Don't post your answers. Don't post your answers on the chat page, please, because you'll simply be ruining it for everybody else. So that's how it works. As I said to you before, if you manage to get the clue first time round, you'll score 10 points. So let's look at the first of the Smarty Pantz trivia teaser problems. Clue number 1. Who am I? I am a famous person who was born in California in 1975. I have been married once and have 2 children. I had problems with stuttering when I was young. I was voted most likely to succeed by my graduating class in 1994. In May last year, I was awarded this, and that's the image what that person was awarded on the right-hand side. Now, take some time because this is a fairly difficult clue. Maybe the year will give it away, the place of birth, the fact that the image on the right in relation to the award that person was given may be of some assistance. So again, just have a quick look, take down any sort of clues which will help you get the answer. Write your answers at the bottom of the sheet. Just have a guess. If you get it correct, then you score 10 points. But please don't post your answers to me at this present moment in time. As I say, we don't have the actual mechanism to actually mark these scripts. So please, 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 just simply have a guess, have a go, and see how you get on. Okay, so one last chance. Just have a look there. Does it help you? Does it assist you in relation to who this person is? If you do get it right, you will score 10 points. But at the end of the next round, if you haven't got it, then we'll give you a slightly easier clue. but the points value will be reduced by 8 points. Okay, so let's go to the answers so far as round one is concerned, celebrity couples. Let's see whether or not you've done very well. Hopefully you have done well if you played your joker, so let's see. That was Princess Eugenie, the younger daughter of the Duke and Duchess of York, and that's when she got married to Jack Brookbank sometime in the autumn of 2019. Number two, that was Nick Jonas of the Jonas Brothers with his wife and actress Priyanka Chopra. That was the one of the celebrity weddings of the year, which I was invited. It looked like a really high-class affair, but I think my invite was stuck in a post. Well, what's new? Number three, Roger Federer with his wife Mirka Federer. As you know, he's got two sets of twins, if you didn't know that. The record holder for the most Grand Slam titles, 20 and counting, and he's the 8-time Wimbledon champion in singles, the record holder. Number four, that is Gisele Bündchen, the Brazilian beauty, with her husband and NFL quarterback Tom Brady. So if you recognize Tom Brady there, you probably would have realized that is Gisele Bündchen. Tom Brady, who's the 6-time winner of the Super Bowl, previously of the New England Patriots, and now plying his trade with the Miami Dolphins. Okay, so that was Gisele Bündchen. Number four, my hero, captain, legend, John Terry, the most decorated captain in Chelsea history. Everybody knows that I'm a big Chelsea fan, and that's here he is with his wife Tony. He's currently the assistant head coach at Aston Villa. You're a legend, John. I salute you, sir. Number six was quite difficult. If you recognise that was Roman Polanski, the fugitive film director, then you would have realised that Sharon Tate was his wife, who was sadly pregnant at the time she was murdered by Charles Bronson and his murderous family group in the summer of 1969. So that was the late Sharon Tate. Number seven, Hugh Hefner with his wife Crystal, née Harris. As you know, he founded the Playboy Bunny Club in the 1950s, 1953 to be precise. So that's Hugh Hefner. Did you get that? Hopefully you did, and you would have scored a very valuable 1 point if you did. Number seven, Jamie Oliver with his wife Jules. So that's Jamie Oliver there. I think Jules is fairly recognisable. So hopefully you would have got the points so far as that's concerned. Number nine, the double Oscar-winning actress Emma Thompson with a equally well-known husband, Greg Wise. If you recognise that was Greg Wise, then almost certainly you would have got the answer correct in the form of Emma Thompson. Very, very talented lady. And number 10, that was Callista Flockhart, formerly of Ally McBeal fame, with Harrison Ford, whose career started originally in 1973. He used to be a carpenter, actually. His first major breakthrough in films was American Graffiti, and he's gone on to do a whole host of things, ranging from Star Wars to Indiana Jones, and also Tom Clancy's eponymous CIA hero, Jack Ryan. So that's the end of that round. How did you do? Did you find it okay? Hopefully you would have found it okay. These are interactive quizzes. They're friendly quizzes. They're fun quizzes. And they're quizzes I hope the family, friends, and whole host of communities will be playing along to tonight. And I hope you're having a good time. And they're not too difficult, because as I say, I teamed up with the quiz writers, and we tried to actually strike a right balance between making the questions fairly challenging, but making it fun and interesting. So hopefully you'll have done quite well, especially if you played a joker. So moving on now to round number 2. That's the old stuff. What's this round about? You might be curious. If you're not curious, then don't play your joker. But if you are curious, play your joker. But play along nevertheless. Okay, so let's move on to the first of those questions. Question number 1. What city that celebrated its 1000th anniversary in 2010 is this? Is it A, Hanoi, B, Mexico City, or C, Sofia? Question number 2. Winning in 1930, Sinclair Lewis was the first person from what country to win the Nobel Prize in Literature? So is that an author which you've heard of before, Sinclair Lewis? Okay, moving swiftly on to number 3. Number 3. Cannonballs were made of stone until they were replaced by which metal with the atomic number of 26? And I think we're about to see this moving image. Let's see there. That is a cannonball, a human cannonball. A human cannonball shot out of a cannon there, as you can see, entertaining the crowd. One more time. Moving on to question number 4. What was the name of this type of World War I German aircraft that dropped bombs on Britain? Question number 5. The 80 Years' War between 1568 and 1648 was which European country's war of independence from Spain? So have a look at that image there. Does that assist you in relation to leading you to what country had to fight for its freedom against Spain between those dates, as you can see there? Question number 6. The 26th American president is the only person to receive both the Nobel Peace Prize and the Congressional Medal of Honor. Who is he? Moving on to question number 7. In which decade was this footage shot when this woman made the first ever solo flight from England to New Zealand? So is that a person you recognise there? Have a look at that image. Study that image there closely. Do you recognise that person, who that is? But we're looking for the decade when that person there, who you see in that film footage, made the first ever solo flight. Question number 8. Who is the subject of a poem by Lord Byron, a play by Molière, a symphonic poem by Richard Strauss, several ballets, and this operatic fantasy by Franz Liszt? Do you know your Byron? Do you know a play by Molière? How many plays do you know by Molière? But the common thing we're looking for, who is the subject in relation to those 4 pieces of artwork by Byron, Molière, Strauss, and Liszt. Question number 9. Look at those 2 images there, and this is the question. This is which American city in 1906? And finally for this round, question number 10. On this day, in which year was the National Health Service, or the NHS, launched? The brainchild of Nye Bevan. Was it 1948, 1957, or 1965? As you know, that wonderful institution, the NHS, is celebrating its birthday today. But in which year was it launched? Okay, so that's the end of round 2, the old stuff. How did you find that? Fairly challenging, fairly difficult, fairly easy if you played your Joker or not. But hopefully you'd have found those questions interesting enough to find them thoroughly enjoyable. Okay, so let's now turn our attention to the trivial teaser. As you know, we set at the end of each round a trivial teaser. We already asked the first question at the end of the first round. If you manage to actually get it right, give yourselves 10 points. If you haven't, just have a guess. But this is your another opportunity to answer the question correctly by this clue. And if you do get it right for clue number 2, you will score 9 points. And the clue is this. I attended Stanford University and my nickname whilst there was Urkel. I have 2 half-brothers and a half-sister. I had laser eye surgery in 1999 and 2007. I am currently dating this woman. So look at that woman in the right of the image of the clue. Do you know who that person is? If you do, then it's going to lead you straight to the correct answer. Again, as I say, write your answer at the bottom of round 2. Just have a guess if you don't know it. There's no harm in getting having a guess because you might be correct. So have a try. Okay, so let's go to the answers for the old stuff. Let's see how we got on there for round number 2. So what city that celebrated its 1000th anniversary in 2010 is this? Is it A, Hanoi, B, Mexico City, or C, Sofia? Have one last look. And the correct answer is Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam, which was founded in the year 1010. And the river you saw there, Hanoi sits on the river called the Red River. And as you know, it was subject to a devastating conflict in the 20th century with the Vietnam War, with the division of the country along the, I think it was the 17th parallel, between the North Communists, where Hanoi was the capital, Ho Chi Minh was its leader, and the various successive corrupt leaders propped up by the American regime. And as you know, the Vietnam War ended in 1975, and the country was reunited or reunified the following year. So the correct answer there is Hanoi. Number 2, winning in 1930, Sinclair Lewis was the first person from what country to win the Nobel Prize in Literature? And that is the United States. In that decade, actually, they had 3 winners. Sinclair Lewis in 1930. You also had Eugene O'Neill in 1936 and Perles Buck in 1938. Other notable winners, William Faulkner in 1949. You also had Ernest Hemingway in 1954. You also had John Steinbeck in 1962. Saul Bellow, 1976, and Singer in 1978. But although the USA have won many awards for Nobel Prizes for Literature, the record is actually held by France with a total of 15 Nobel laureates. Moving on, cannonballs were made of stone until they were replaced by which metal with the atomic number of 26? So you can see again, that is a human cannonball, not made of any metal. But the correct answer is iron or ferrum, to give it its Latin name. You can see there the chemical symbol Fe. Number 4, what was the name of this type of World War German aircraft that dropped bombs on Britain? That was called, as you know, a Zeppelin, named after Count Ferdinand von Zeppelin. They are dirigibles or steerable aircraft. They used to be filled with hydrogen, but they quickly went out of fashion as a result of the Hindenburg disaster in 1937 on 6th of May, when some 36 people lost their lives over the state of New Jersey, and it just simply went out of fashion. Number 5, the 80 Years' War between 1568 and 1648 was which European country's war of independence from Spain? And that was the Netherlands. So the Netherlands fought a mighty war against the Habsburg Empire, led by Philip II, and they managed to eventually gain their freedom from the Spanish. Question number 6. The 26th American president is the only person to receive both the Nobel Peace Prize and the Congressional Medal of Honor. Who is he? That is Theodore Roosevelt, or Teddy Roosevelt. So after the teddy bear was named after him. And to date, he is still the youngest ever person to become president of the United States at the age of 42. Question number 7. In this decade, was this footage shot when Jean Batten, so it wasn't Amy Johnson, if you thought it was Amy Johnson or Amelia Earhart, no, it wasn't. It was Jean Batten who made the first ever solo flight from England to New Zealand. We were just simply looking for the decade, and the decade in question was the 1930s, 1936 to be precise. That was the age of, the golden age actually, long flights ranging from people like, what's his name, Charles Lindbergh in the 70s, Amelia Earhart in the 1930s, Auckland Brown, who flew the Atlantic in 1919. There's a whole host. Wiley Post, who flew around the world. Actually, first person to fly around the world. Number 8. Who is the subject of a poem by Lord Byron, a play by Molière, a symphonic poem by Richard Strauss, several ballets, and this operatic fantasy by Franz Liszt? And that is the one and only Don Juan. Don Juan is the correct answer there. Question number 9. This is which American city in 1906? I think the clue is obviously in the images, because that's clearly signs of devastation due to an earthquake. And that can only be San Francisco, which suffered that devastation in that year. And finally, as we know today is the National Health Service Day. As I say, we owe the National Health Service a great deal in relation to the sterling work they've done in keeping us safe throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. And happy birthday, NHS. But in which year was it launched by Naya Brevin? Was it 1948, 57, or 65? And the correct answer is 1948. As you can see there, that wonderful quote by that wonderful man. It will last as long as there are folk left with a faith to fight for it. I mean, it sums it up perfectly. And as I say, if it wasn't for the NHS in relation to the sterling work they've done throughout this COVID-19 pandemic, where would we be? We owe them a great deal, and we can't thank them enough. So that's the end of round number 2. How are we finding the quiz so far? Are you finding it enjoyable? Are you finding it terrible? Let us know. Just send us your comments. We aim to please. We aim to improve. So please, please, please send us your comments in relation to how you think the quiz is going so far. But whatever you do, don't put your answers in the comment section. And please, please keep it clean. Keep it appropriate. Because as I say, it is a family fun quiz. And we don't want people to be offended by any inappropriate comments and or remarks. Okay, so let's now move our attention swiftly to round number 3, sport and games. Is this one of the rounds where you think, yes, this is my opportunity now to actually play my joker? So let's see how we get on in relation to this particular round. Question number 1. Running from 1901 to 1926, the Nordic Games were a precursor to what competition? Question number 2. What football star is the top scorer for England with 53 goals scored? Give you a chance to work that out. Question number 3. This is a common enemy encountered in what video game franchise? Question number 4. These well-worn balls were used in Flipperball, which is a modified version of what game? Question number 5. Which is the only city to have hosted both an America's Cup Regatta, and a World Marathon Major and a Grand Slam tennis event? Question number 6. If it's the silver ferns in New Zealand and the diamonds in Australia, what is it in England? So have a ponder, have a think in relation to this question there. Question number 7. The Rouen pattern, which originated at the end of the 15th century, provides the most common design for what? Okay, moving on to question number 8 now. Question number 8. The Grand National, the most valuable jump race in Europe, is always raced at what venue? Moving on to question number 9. Let these images come into sharp focus. These 3 logos are all associated with which sport? And finally, for question number 10, in which athletics event is the world record for women further or higher than that for men? Is it A, the discus, B, high jump, or C, shot put? Okay, so that's the end of that particular question. I'm looking at some of the comments. People are saying that they're really loving the inaugural quiz. Somebody's actually pulled me up for pronunciation. I didn't mean to say Charles Bronson to the question of who murdered Sharon Tate. I meant to say Charles Manson. So thank you for that, Mike, for letting me know. And that's what we want, actually. We're looking for all your comments, good, bad, or indifferent, just to let us know what you think of the quiz. So that's the most important thing. So going back now to, let's go back to the clues, the triple teaser. Did you manage to actually get the correct answer for any of the first 2 clues we had? If you didn't, well, this is the opportunity now to score 8 points for a slightly easier clue, and that is clue 3, which is as follows. My famous nickname came from an army buddy of my father's. In 1978, at the age of 2, I made my television debut on the Mike Douglas Show. My father passed away in 2006, and this had a profound effect on me. And this is one of my many sponsors. So look at the image you can see there on the right. Does that assist you in relation to finally leading you to the correct answer as to the identity of the person in question? But look at those clues there, which we've given you in relation to clue 3. Take out some of the points, write it down if you want to, see whether or not there are any clues. But please, please, please don't put your answers on the comment section. Just play along at home, either with a piece of paper, or if you've managed to download the answer sheets from the Smarty Pantz Facebook page. Okay, so let's go to the answers now for round number 3. Let's look at the answers. Sport and games. How do we do? Let's find out. Running from 1901 to 1926, the Nordic Games were the precursor to what competition? I think the clue was in the question. You should have got this one. That is the Winter Olympic Games, first held in Chamonix in 1924, and the next Olympic Games are going to be held in Beijing in 2022 and in Milan in 2026. Some notable British victories. Obviously, spring to mind was in 1984 in Sarajevo when Torvill Dean won the Olympic gold. You had Robin Cousins at Lake Placid in 1980. John Curry in Innsbruck in 1976. Amy Williams, who won in Vancouver in 2010. And the last major success for Britain was the double Olympic success by Lizzie Arnold. Do you remember her? Retired at the top. Hope you're playing along, Lizzie. Probably not. Number 2, what football star is the top scorer for England with 53 goals scored? It can only be the Derby County captain and former England legend Wayne Rooney, capped 120 times. First captain 2003 against Australia when they lost 3-1, but managed to finally break Bobby Robson's record in September 2015, I think it was, with a goal against Switzerland. It was Switzerland. Number 3, the Kremlin is the common enemy encountered in what video game franchise? And that is Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong. I'm not really good at video games, actually. I'm trying to actually learn some of the video game franchises because we always get asked occasionally, not only in the chase, but sometimes in the various quiz leagues I take part in. So it's not really my thing, really, but still. Moving on to question number 4. These well-worn balls were used in flipper ball, which is a modified version of what game? And that is water polo, first played in the Olympic Games in Paris in 1900. And the women's version of the Olympic water polo program didn't take place until Sydney 2000, so exactly 100 years later. Some of the most notable teams in water polo, I think Hungary. And there was a very famous battle between Hungary and the Soviet Union in 1956, played in the backdrop of the Soviet invasion of Hungary in 1956. And it was a bloody battle, which I think the Hungarians were eventually victorious with the gold medal. Number 4, which is the only city to have hosted both the America's Cup Regatta and a World Marathon Major and a Grand Slam tennis event? And that is the New York City. New York City could only be New York City because New York City, for at least 123 years, dominated the America's Cup. The New York Regatta Club dominated that competition. It's called the Old Trophy by way of nickname, but the current holders are the New Zealand, and that's when they're going to defend the America's Cup. And hopefully we'll finally win it with Sir Ben Ainsley as our glorious captain. The reason why it was called America's Cup is because it was a sailing competition between Britain and America in 1851, and the boat that won, the schooner that won, was called America, hence America's Cup. Now you know. This quiz isn't always about taking part, it's also about learning as well. Store those little nuggets of information when you take part in future quizzes. Question number 6. If it's the silver ferns in New Zealand and the diamonds in Australia, what is it in England? And they are affectionately known as the Roses. The women's national netball team are called the Roses. As you know, last year we held the Women's Netball World Cup, mainly based in Liverpool. And although the Valiant Roses tried to bring the World Cup home, it was eventually won by the Silver Ferns from New Zealand. But we did manage to win a major international honour in 2018 at the Gold Coast in the Commonwealth Games, where we managed to beat, finally, the Australians on their own patch as well. Great. Question number 7. The Rouen pattern, which originated at the end of the 15th century, provides the most common design for what? And they are playing cards. You can say named after the French city of Rouen, where they were made. As you can see there, the hearts, clubs, diamonds, and spades. The Jack, King, and Queen of the respective suits. Okay, the question number 8. Question number 8. The Grand National, the most valuable jump race in Europe, is always raced at what venue? I think everybody knows that one. Should get this one, really. And that is at Aintree. It's always run at Aintree. The first one there in 1839. And the name of the winning horse was called Lottery in 1839. In the First World War, it wasn't actually run at Aintree. It was run at the grounds where Gatwick Airport is now situated. And in 1941 to 1945, for defensive purposes, Aintree wasn't available and the race wasn't run. It also wasn't run in 1993. The race never won. El Chaness won it, unfortunately, but it was declared a no result. And as you know, due to the COVID-19 pandemic this year, the Aintree Grand National didn't run, which prevented Tiger Roll from actually completing the first ever hat-trick of wins. But they did have a virtual race, I believe, in April 2020. Okay, moving on to question number 9. These 3 logos are all associated with which sport? Do you recognize those logos? Do you recognize the sport? And that is American football, of course. The Seattle Seahawks, Carolina Panthers, and the Los Angeles Chargers. So the correct answer there was American football. And finally, in which athletics event is the world record for women further or higher than that for men? Is it A, the discus, B, high jump, or C, the shot put? And the correct answer, if you work it out, it can only be one of those two. It can only be, obviously, the discus. And the reason for that is because of the respective weights thrown by men and women. Women throw 1 kilogram, men throw a 2 kilogram. And as you can see, there's only a 2 meter difference between, well, a bit more than 2 meters, a bit less than 2 meters between the respective records held for throwing the discus. So that's it. That's the end of round number 3. How are we finding it so far? Are we enjoying it? I hope you are enjoying it, because some of the comments I'm receiving here saying that people are enjoying it. Let's have a look at some of the comments. One of my favourite quizzers who takes part in my Tuesday quiz, Sean. How are you, Sean Wisnam? She's saying that I'm loving the quiz. Mike saying it's a great quiz, thank you. And somebody saying I'm just nervous. Do I sound nervous? I don't think so. Not really. But it's your comments that count. And any comments which will help improve this fantastic quiz, which you've got lined up for you, will be all the worthwhile. Round number 4 is called How Many? So as you can see there, note well, nota bene. That's what NB means, nota bene. Latin, of course. Every number from 1 to 10 features in this round. So if you write a number other than 1 to 10, you're going to get it wrong. Okay, so The answers are numbered answers, but they must contain numbers between the digits 1 to 10. Okay, so let's move on to question number 1. How many countries share a land border with the one whose flag is shown here? So do you know your flags, or vexillology as it's called? Do you know your flags? Do you know all the various flags from the sovereign states of the world? Do you recognize that one? If you do, then you'll be able to tell me how many countries share a land border with it. Number 2. How many lines are there in a haiku and a limerick combined? Do you know what a haiku is? Do you know where it originates from? Do you know where a limerick is? Do you know where that comes from? If you do, then it will make it easier for you to add the two together and come up with the numerical answer. Number 3, until Liverpool broke their drought in 2020, how many clubs have won the Premier League title? So you can see the boys in red there celebrating yet another victory in their rampaging march to the title, and thoroughly deserved, I hasten to add. Number 4, how many different denomination of notes are available in US currency? Look at that shopping trolley there, what that lady's pushing there. God almighty, must have spent a fortune. Good luck to her. Question number 5. I famously told Katie Bueller that her son had been absent from school. How many times in one semester in a 1986 film? Question number 6. How many feature films were released in this franchise? So, do you recognise the actors there? Do you recognise the actor on the extreme right of that photograph? If you do, and you know the name of the film, then how many films were released in that particular franchise? Question number 7, as you can see there. So far, how many titles in my A Song of Ice and Fire series have been published? Do you know who that famous author there is? Question number 8. In a game of blackjack, how many points is a queen worth? Question number 9. How many even prime numbers are there? Do you know that one? And question number 10. The Great Fire of London of 1666 raged for how many days? Is it A1, A4, sorry, 1, A4, B7, or C10? So that's the end of round number 2. How are we finding it so far? That's the how many rounds, round number 4 there. How many? Remember, it is a numerical answer quiz for this particular round, and they must be the numbers between numbers 1 and 10. Any numbers you give outside those two numbers, it's going to be wrong. Okay, so let's see how we get on. Okay, so let's go to the trivial teaser. Hopefully you're not struggling too much now, but the clues should be getting relatively easier, I think, now. But as they become easier, then the point value what you can earn for getting the correct answer will become a point less. So if you just don't know, just have a guess. Remember, it's our first time playing this particular quiz, and as we'll be developing it, hopefully you'll be able to actually post your answers back to the Smarty Pantz Trivia Answer Centre. But let's look at clue number 4. Let's see, it's worth 6 points. So, okay, look at the image on the to the right. That may help you. But let's look at the clue in some detail. I underwent 4 back surgeries between 2014 and 2017. I once described my ethnic makeup as being Kabylin Asian. I am worth over $1 billion. I turned professional in my chosen field in 1996 and was named Sportsman of the Year that same year by this magazine, as you can see to the right. They would also bestow me that honour in 2000. I can see some of the comments. People are not actually, and I'm grateful for them not doing so, posting their answers on the show, but they're saying, Sean, hey, I've got it, which is really, really good. Let me say a big shout out to St. Wacker de Paul. Hey, Sean, how you doing, mate? Joan Wright, you're enjoying the quiz. Thank you, Joan. Thank you, loving it. The quiz looks very professional. So glad it's working smoothly. That's from Kay. Thank you very much, Kay. And the quiz masters reminding me, I meant to say Charles Manson. I think I've made my apologies there already. Thank you for your comments. Keep those comments coming. Keep them coming. We want to have these comments. Okay, let's go through the answers now. How many? If you play your joker, hopefully you'll have played it to devastating effect, which will double your points for any round you decide to play your joker. But remember, you can only play the joker once. How many countries share a land border with Eswatini, or also known as Swaziland? And that is 2. As you know, Swaziland, or Eswatini, is completely surrounded by South Africa and Mozambique to its east. Mbanane is the capital of Eswatini, and it's one of the few absolute monarchies that still exist today. Question number 2, how many lines are there in a haiku and a limerick combined? A haiku, as you know, is a Japanese poem. A limerick is an Irish humorous verse. And they are number 8, 3 in a haiku and 5 in a limerick. Number 3, until Liverpool broke their drought in 2020, how many clubs had won the Premier League title? And that is 6 to date. Man United still hold a record with 13 wins. My beloved Chelsea are in second place with 5 wins. Man City and Arsenal won it 3 times. And Blackburn Rovers won it in 1995. And the most romantic victory of all surely must have been in 2016 when the 5,000 to 1 outsiders, Leicester City, captured the crown. Question number 4, how many different denominations of notes are available in the US currency? Do you know? And there are 7 in total. As you can see there, that's the obverse, or the front of the banknotes. The $1 bill, that is the first president of the United States, George Washington. The $2 bill, that is Thomas Jefferson. The $5 there, which you can see, is Abraham Lincoln. The $10, that is the first US Secretary of the Treasury, who's the subject of a famous musical. That is Alexander Hamilton there, you can see. The $20 bill is called, colloquially in the States, it's called an Andrew Jackson, who was the 7th President of the United States. The $50 bill there, as you can see, that is President Ulysses S. Grant, the victorious Union commander at the end of the Civil War. And the $100 bill, that is one of the founding fathers of America. That is Benjamin Franklin, the scientist, diplomat, and polymath. Question number 5 there. Principal Ed Rooney famously told Katie Bueller that her son had been absent from school how many times in one semester in Ferris Bueller's Day Off? And that is 9 in total. 9 days off he had, as you can see there. The principal characters, the actor Alan Ruck in the background, Mia Sarah in the middle, and Ferris Bueller, the title character, played by Matthew Broderick, who I think, if I'm not correct, isn't he married to Sarah Jessica Parker? I think he is. I'll be corrected if I'm wrong. I remember I'm sort of extemporizing here, trying to pull facts and figures out of the top of my head. How many feature films were released in the Back to the Future franchise? As you can see there, that's clearly Michael J. Fox there. And there were 3 in total, directed by Robert Zemeckis. As I say, it transported Marty McFly back into the future in a super DeLorean created by the inventor Doc Brown, played by Christopher Lloyd. And I think in order for it to actually go back in time, it had to actually reach 88 miles per hour, something like that. Question number 9. So far, how many titles in George R.R. Martin's Song of Ice and Fire series has been published? Everybody thinks it's called Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is just one of the titles in the trilogy, the series called A Song of Ice and Fire. And that is 5 in total. 5 in total. So you can see there, Game of Thrones. Those are all the other. That's the most famous of all the books written by George R.R. Martin. I'm always frequently asked, and was asked a question the other day, what does the double R stand for? It's George Raymond Richard Martin. George Raymond Richard Martin. Now you know. Number 8. In a game of blackjack, how many points is a queen worth? Well, if you play blackjack, you know that all picture cards are worth 10. All picture cards, Jack, King, Queen, and King, are all worth 10 points. Number 9, how many even prime numbers are there? There's only one even prime number. As you know, that's a prime number is a number which can only be divisible by itself or the number 1. And the only prime number which is even is the number 2. So there's only one even prime number. As you can see there was all the various prime numbers from 1 to 100. And the final question for this round, the Great Fire of London of 1666 raged for how many days? Is it 4 days, 7 days, or 10 days? And the correct answer is 4 days and 3 nights. The fire itself beginning on the 2nd of September 1666 in a baker's shop, apparently, in Pudding Lane. And a Frenchman who apparently confessed to starting the fire was hung for it, even though he wasn't actually anywhere near London at the time. Why he confessed to such a fact, only he knows. Okay, so that's the end of round number 4, I think it was, how many numbers round. Okay, so this is the wipeout round. This is one of the rounds which I think I was talking to you about earlier. How do we play the wipeout round? So as you can see there, the aim is to create an unbroken string of correct answers. Once you get one wrong, you stop scoring a point. So the best thing to do here is to put your dead certs at the top and the wild hunches at the bottom, because the minute you get a question wrong, you stop scoring points. So that's how it works, really. So let's have a look at what the inaugural wipeout round is. So what we're looking for here now is any UK #1 hits by either Wham, Take That, Atomic Kitten, or Little Mix. So any #1 hits by Wham, Take That, Atomic Kitten, or Little Mix. Always make sure you put your dead certain answers at the top. If you're not sure, then put them at the bottom. But the minute you get one question wrong, you will score 0 points. It doesn't have to be in any order. You can have a Wham number one, then a Take That number one, then a Little Mix number one, then an Atomic Kitten number one. But as long as they are number one hits, okay, as you can see there at the bottom, there are 24 possible answers that you can have before. And if you get all 24, then you're fantastic. You should go on Popmaster with Ken Bruce, or you should go on Mastermind and use that as your specialist subject. Number one hits. Okay, so it's going to take you some time to actually do that. So rather than have dead air, I'm going to sort of talk to you about probably about the acts themselves. As you know, Wham were originally a group from Hertfordshire, formed by Andrew Ridgeley and George Panateu, or Giorgio Panateu, the wonderfully gifted singer-songwriter who sadly died on Christmas Day, I think in 2016, was it 2016 he died? I remember I was in Jamaica when I heard the news. What a great, talented man. What do I know about Take That? They were formed in Manchester in 1989. They broke up sometime in 2005, then reformed and broke up and reformed. There's only 3 current members. Gary Barlow, the singer-songwriter, Mark Owen and Howard Donald. And as you know, Robbie famously left the group in 1995 and went on to forge a wonderfully brilliant solo career. Another important fact about Robbie Williams, he has the highest number of UK number one albums for a British solo artist. Well done, Robbie. Great man. I think he's married to, can't remember her name, something Feld, begins with A. But again, I'm just sort of thinking off the top of my head. Jason Orange left sometime in 2014, did he? Yeah, something like that. But Mark Owen's still there, Howard Donald's still there, and so is the lead singer and songwriter, main songwriter, Gary Barlow. What do I know about Atomic Kitten? Atomic Kitten, they were actually formed together by Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark, OMD. And as you know, the original lineup was Kerry Katona of Iceland fame, Liz McLennan, and also Natasha. Is it Natasha Hamilton? Thinking off the top of my head, I think it's Natasha Hamilton. Send me a comment if I'm wrong. Again, I'm just sort of thinking off the top of my head here. And Little Mix, as you know, Little Mix, they won X Factor in 2011. They were the first girl group, or the first group to win X Factor. But what we're looking for is the number one songs of any of those 4 acts you see there. Make sure you put your dead certs at the top and the not so certs at the bottom. So hopefully you're finding it well, finding it easy. When I actually study pop music, I always try to concentrate on UK number one song because pop music is so vast. Actually, I'm mainly a 60s child. I grew up obviously listening to groups like the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, Traffic. Remember Traffic with Stevie Wonder, Spencer Davis Group, all those old Keep On Running. People saying, why am I singing tonight? Because I want to try and keep as many people engaged in this quiz as possible rather than actually simply turn them off. So I will be singing at some point as the quiz develops, but so have no fear. My voice is simply warming up. But what else can I tell you? As you know, the Chase celebrated 11 years this year. We've been going on, and my erstwhile colleagues are so grateful for the fact that The Chase is still a very, very popular TV show, and the only reason why it's so popular is because you, the fans, make it popular, and we are eternally grateful for you tuning in every day at 5 o'clock, the Tea Time Show. Probably one of the best shows on ITV. Well, I would say that, wouldn't I? And my mate Bradley Walsh, probably one of the most gifted and funniest entertainers. Yes, Bradley, I know the check's in the post, but I'm just saying that you know that I love you, Brad. You're very, very witty, very, very funny. And as everybody knows, both Bradley and I celebrated a landmark birthday this year. I'm 2 days older than Bradley. I think he says that we're twins born from a different mother. But yeah, Bradley's a great lad. And so are the other fellow chasers, actually. And you should also look forward to our latest chaser, who's going to be joining the fold. He's a wonderful lad, Dara Ennis. As I say, we tried to keep it under wraps, but Bradley inadvertently let the cat out of the bag. He didn't mean to do that, but it's hard to keep a secret like that. But Dara's a welcome addition. He's going to be a fantastic member of the Chase family. And he's going to be wonderfully entertaining. As I say, you will be seeing him fairly soon. We don't know when, but the one thing I can guarantee you, you will be extremely entertained. So anyway, going back to the Wipeout round, how are we doing so far? Obviously, don't tell me, not until I reveal the answers as of yet. This obviously will be an opportunity for you to actually go and get yourself a drink. I can't actually leave the quiz because my producers have left me all alone in the studio to actually fend to my own devices. But they were so confident, they said to me, Sean, look, don't worry about it. The quiz is going to work tonight. We've made sure that the high tech's okay. You've paid the meters and the money into the meter to make sure that the internet's working. And hopefully it is working because I can clearly see from the various comments. So let's have a look at the comments we've got here. As we can see, Zoe, that's one of my wonderful, great clerks, and she's also part of the Smarty Pantz family. She's saying, having a great time playing along, loving the format. Thank you, Zoe. The Quizmaster is saying it's a bit slow, it needs a bit more energy. I need to squeeze the screen in a little too. Okay, we'll try that. Quizmaster said, or go on Mastermind and win it. Then drop the prize, Sean? Because you know that I broke. Yeah, you know that I'm the only Mastermind champion who no longer has the trophy because I dropped it. So that's that, really. Some other quiz. Mike saying it's a brilliant job. He's enjoying it. And people, by and large, are enjoying this quiz, and I'm glad that they are. Okay, the numbers might be small, but we will grow and grow exponentially until we'll be the best online quiz in the entire universe. Yes, we will. Watch this space and watch next week, because as I say, we'll be on the same time, same place. Anyway, enough of me about rambling. The reason why I'm rambling is because the one thing we don't want to have is dead air. Who wants to have dead air? Maybe you're thinking, oh, shut up, Sean, because you're interrupting my flow. I'm trying to actually work out what the various number one hits are. But I've given you enough time. If you manage to get all 24, then you are fantastic. That's brilliant, brilliant scoring. So let's look at the possible answers that you could have given. Okay, and the possible answers are coming up right now. As you can see there. Wham had 5 number ones, as you can see there. Careless Whisper, Freedom, I'm Your Man, Edge of Heaven, and their first number one, I think, was Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. So those are the number ones for Wham. For Atomic Kitten, their most famous number one, I think, was Whole Again, I think. And that was just before Carrie Katona left and was replaced by Jenny Frost. Then you had Eternal Flame and The Tide Is High, something like that. No, isn't that Blondie? Sorry. So far as Little Mix are concerned, Cannonball was their first number one. It was a Christmas number one in 2011. Then you have Black Magic, Shout Out to My Ex, and Wings. So they've had 4 number ones to date. And as you can see there on the left, Take That have had 12 number ones to date. The first one was the number 8 in the list, as you can see there, Pray. But let's go through the list again. Babe, Back for Good, Everything Changes, Greatest Day, How Deep Is Your Love, Never Forget, Patience, Pray, Relight My Fire, along with Lulu, Shine, Sure, and These Days. So as I say, you'll only be wiped out the minute you get an incorrect answer. So hopefully you'd have got as many correct answers as you possibly can or could have done in the circumstances. And if you've done so, then you'll score as much points before you eventually get the one wrong then you're entirely wiped out. But you still keep the points. Okay. Okay, so let's now move on to the next round, round number 5. Round number 5. This is branded. This is one of my sort of Achilles heel types of rounds. Actually, brand. It's there's loads of brands around the world, and you see them all the time on TV, in shops, on buses, you name it, you see it. But does it stick in your head unless it's one of those really memorable ones? So let's find out. And if you are really good at brands because you shop until you drop, then this is a perfect time, I think, to play your Joker. So let's see how well you do in this round here. Number 1. Can you work out what that is? Number 1. Whose brand is that? Number 2. Number 3. How are we doing now? Recognize that one? Who's that? Number 4. Is that logo you recognize? Number 5. Number 5. Number 6. I'm looking at the comments. Somebody's basically said, Irene said, have you just been to the hairdressers? Irene, you know that I don't have any hair, so why am I going to go to the hairdressers? I did have a shave actually because I knew that I wanted to make myself look nice for all the people taking part in the quiz today. Number 7. Do you recognize that brand? Number 8. Have a look. Do you know what that is? Is that brand you recognize? Number 9. Let's have a look at number 9. And last, but by no means least, image number 10. Image number 10. Okay, so that's the image round there, or the branded round, as it's called, for tonight's quiz. Did you recognize any of those brands? Hopefully you did, and if you did, then what a time to play your Joker. Okay, so let's go now, as we always do, to the trivial teaser. Trivial teaser. I think most people have worked it out by now, I think, and maybe this image which is popped up on your right-hand screen will basically be the deal clincher. But let's go through the clues if you haven't managed to work it out. Let's see if you can. In 1994, I became the youngest winner of the US Amateur Championship, although Danny Lee broke this record in 2008. My niece has the same profession as me. This is my ex-wife, so look at that image on the right, who I was married to from 2004 to 2010. The reason for that divorce was revealed to the world over a grueling Thanksgiving in 2009. Okay, does that make it any easier for you? If it does, then clearly you are going to score 5 points. So again, just take some of the parts of the clue which may help you, the years, the various years. The image itself may be a clue. If it is, then it's bingo. You've got the correct answer and you'll score 5 points. Okay, so let's go through the answers now for round number 5, the branded round. Do you recognize the various logos? Let's see. Question number 1, as you can see there, that is Sunderland FC. That's, as you can see, the motto, Consectatio Excellentae, and that simply means, strangely enough, it means the sadness will last forever. And the reason why that's the motto is because it was taken from the last ever words said by Vincent van Gogh just before he shot himself in 1890. The actual words he said, apparently attributed to him, was La triste durera toujours, which means the sadness will last forever. I suppose that sums up Sunderland FC's fall from grace. Hopefully the Black Cats will be where they rightfully should be. With such a wonderful following, they should be playing Premier League football. Number 2, that's Toyota. That must be one of the most recognized car brands in the world. It overtook Volkswagen Beetle in the late 80s, I think it was, as the world's most selling types of units in terms of a brand of a motor vehicle. Number 8, that is Barbie, or to give her a right name, Barbara Millicent Roberts. That is Barbie there, the Barbie logo. Number 4, Tesco, which, as you know, last year celebrated its centenary. So that's the Tesco brand, set up by Jack Cohen in 1919. It's one of the most recognized brands, not only in the United Kingdom, but probably in the world, Tesco. Number 5, named after the 1925 French Tennis Open champion, René Lacoste, or the Crocodile as he was known as. So that's his logo, Lacoste. Number 6, the Oakland Raiders there. There they are, the American football team, twice winners of the Super Bowl in 76 and 80 respectively. I like American football. I never used to like it before, but I'm getting into it a little bit. Not a bad sport. Number 7, obviously, I think the clue was in the colours there. That is clearly Google Maps. Number 8, now I wouldn't have got that, even if I had the answer in front of me, I wouldn't have got that. But that is the tail logo of Thai Airlines. Thai Airlines. Smooth as silk. I've never been to Thailand, actually. Haven't you, Sean, as I say in the comments? No, I haven't. Moving on, number 9, that is the logo for Samsonite. Samsonite. I wouldn't have got that in a million years. Didn't even get that when I had the answers in front of me. Never mind. And number 10, that is one of the sort of videos of the moment, especially during lockdown, the wonderful TikTok. Okay, so that's the end of the branded round. How did you do there? A lot of people are saying to me, just have a quick look. The quiz masters, the clues in the name. We love quizzes and quizzes. Thank you very much. Kevin Taylor, don't worry, Sean. I cut my own hair last week with electric shears, but forgot to put the ends on. Won't need a haircut for months. True that, he says. All right, Kev, well done, mate. Well done. I really hope you're enjoying the quiz now. So let's move swiftly on to the. We've got 3 more rounds to go. 3 more rounds to go at the end of the inaugural Smarty Pantz trivia quiz. Hopefully you're enjoying it. I can clearly see from the various comments that people are liking this new, exciting, innovative, put your teeth in, Sean, quiz. And there'll be many more to come. So I'll be spending this week with my team of quiz writers writing these challenging, fun, exciting type of questions for you to get your teeth into. And if you can't wait until next week, you can always actually go to the Smarty Pantz Facebook page and download free quizzes, because we've been beating the drum about this, especially in relation to the Facebook quizzes I have every Tuesday. Plug. So if you are really hungry and desperate and you can't wait for either Tuesday or the following Sunday, you can always go to the Smarty Pantz Facebook page and download free quizzes, which are free for all the family to take part, family, friends, communities. Hopefully the whole world will be into Smarty Pantz. Let's wait and see. So let's move on to round number 6. That is the potluck round. And as you can see, question number 1. Officially recognized by the US Congress as, and I quote, a distinctive product of the USA, unquote, in 1964, what ingredient do the mint julep, Manhattan, and old-fashioned cocktails have in common? Everybody knows. If you don't know now, I'm a teetotal. My favorite drink is ginger beer and strawberry syrup. I know, what a yucky combination, but that's my own non-alcoholic cocktail. Loads of ice is fantastic. Number 2. Okay, let's have a look at this image here. What type of shark surprises an Australian swimmer here? Any type of shark would surprise me, man, I tell you. Wow. Oh dear. What type of shark is that? Can you imagine seeing that when you're swimming? Oh dear, oh dear. Hardly best thinking about. Number 3, have a look at that image there, which is flashing there. Keeps on flashing. The first German model to model a Victoria's Secret's angel. Who is this off for an afternoon nap here? So have a look at that image there. Moving on to question number 4. In which country are the cities of Belo Horizonte, Curitiba, Manaus, Natal, and Salvador situated? Question number 5. Who is the only British monarch to have been executed? That's not strictly true. I'm going to modify that question. Who is the only English monarch to be executed? And you'll see why in relation to the question. I'll explain why in a moment. Question number 6. What is bent if a person suffers from scoliosis? Question number 7. What word derived from a Sanskrit word meaning to lick names this condiment? Did you recognize that condiment there? Question number 8. That's not a very pleasant image to look at on the left, but let's answer the question nevertheless. In 1979, the World Health Organization announced that the global eradication of which disease seen there on the left to date is the only human disease, to be eradicated worldwide. Question number 9. What model of Toyota that shares its name with a 1986 Christopher Lambert and Sean Connery film crashes here? bit dramatic, isn't it? And question number 10 is this. Is a firefly actually a type of A, beetle, B, moth, or C, spider? Okay, so that's the end of the potluck round. Sort of general knowledge, really. How did you find that round? Wide, varied, and mixed. That's what we try to do, to actually mix it up in terms of trying to set the right balance to make it a quiz or questions which will make you think and ponder, but are enjoyable enough for you to simply work out the answer and get it right, because that's the most important thing about getting a quiz. Who wants to take part in a quiz where the cleverest person in the room is a quiz master by virtue of the fact that he or she has got the answers in front of him? That's no type of quiz, is it? Of course it isn't. So let's move our attention now back to the answers for potluck. The answers, as you can see there, officially recognized by the US Congress as a distinctive product of the USA in 1964. What ingredient do the mint julep, Manhattan, and old-fashioned cocktails have in common? And that is bourbon. Bourbon, of course. Number 2, as you can see there, look at that image there. What type of shark surprises an Australian swimmer here? God, that is frightening. And the correct answer, obviously, is the great white shark. As you know, one of the most famous great white sharks written about was the novel written by Peter Benchley, which led to the film called Jaws. Number 3, the first German model to become a Victoria's Secret angel, who is often on for an afternoon nap here. Who is that there? That is Heidi Klum. She used to be married to, remember, the pop artist Seal, or Seal Henry. But Heidi Klum there. Number 4, in which country are the cities of Belo Horizonte, Curitiba, Manaus, Natal, and Salvador situated in? And they are in Brazil, as you know, is the largest country in the South American mainland and the 5th largest country in the world. I've been to Brazil twice. For me, that is the best country in the entire world. Number 4, the reason why I've had to slightly modify this question, and people are sending me the question in their comments, they know the reason why I'm modifying it, because there have been 2 British monarchs have been executed, but this question in relation to the answer here, I've had to modify it. Who's the only English monarch to have been executed? And that is Charles I. He was executed on the 30th of January 1649. And the first British monarch to be beheaded was Mary Queen of Scots on the 8th of February 1587 in Fotheringay Castle. So that question had to be slightly modified because 2 British monarchs have in fact been beheaded. What is bent if a person suffers from scoliosis? And that is the spine, or you've got a curvature of the spine. Curvature of the spine. Question number 7. What word derived from a Sanskrit word meaning to lick means is condiment? And that is chutney. Chutney. That means to lick. So if you ever get a question in a quiz, any of the pub quizzes you may attend, or any quizzes you might take part, You may go on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and that might be the £1 million question. And if you get it right, remember where you heard it first. Number 8, in 1979, the World Health Organization announced the global eradication of which disease seen there to date, the only human disease to be eradicated worldwide, and that is smallpox. As you can see there, still makes my stomach or my skin crawl when I see that image. Just want to itch. Number 9, what model of Toyota shares its name with the 1986 Christopher Lambert and Sean Connery film Crash is there, as you can see. So let's look at the crash. And that is Highlander, or known as a Kluger in Japan. So the Highlander. And question number 10, is a firefly actually a type of beetle, moth, or spider? And it is clearly a beetle. Okay, so that's the end of that particular round of potluck. How did you do? Seen from the comments, people have done very, very well. Somebody sent me a comment in relation to the fact that, and this is from, let me see, is it Tamali L? He says, the Oakland Raiders are no longer called Oakland Raiders, they're called the Las Vegas Raiders. So I'll take your word for it. A bit sloppy question writing there, both for myself and my team, but we will be checking that. I have no reason to doubt what you just said there, so that must be correct. Okay. So let's now move swiftly on to clue number 6. The questions are getting really easier now, and I think this is the giveaway. If you haven't got it before, then you must get it now. But let's look at the clues, just in case you don't. Again, you'll score 4 points for getting this clue at this particular stage. Clue number 6 is this. My real name is Eldrick, but you know me by my nickname. After winning the 2001 Masters, I became the only player to win 4 consecutive major professional golf titles. I'm well known for wearing this colour on Sundays. So have a look at that colour. Have a look at the name. We now know the sport this particular individual plays. Does that give you a clue in relation to who this person is? So it might be surprising you, but people may not have heard of this particular person. So let's see whether or not that's the case. Moving on, I think I mentioned at the outset of the quiz that the 1st of July is a national day for the country of Canada, as you know, which is the second largest country in the world. So we thought, in homage to that wonderful nation, we set around 10 questions on Canada. And here they are. Question number 1. Is July the 1st known to a Canadian as A, Canada Day, B, Dominion Day, or C, Independence Day? Question number 2. This is the view from Canada's tallest structure. It lies, or stands, in which city? Not going to lie, is it? It's going to stand, isn't it? Question number 3. Look at that person there. Do you recognize that famous sports Canadian? Who is he? What sport does that Canadian play professionally? Question number 4. What is this small pastry tart called, considered one of Canada's quintessential desserts? Question number 5. Ontario's Alice Munro won what in 2003? Did she win A, the Palme d'Or, B, the Nobel Prize in Literature, or C, the Turner Prize? Question number 6. What is the title of this album, possibly by Canada's most famous singer? And it was ranked by Billboard as the best-selling pop album of the 1990s. Question number 7. Featuring a bird and a polar bear, respectively, what is a loony or a toonie? Question number 8. Which 1999 film featured an Oscar-nominated song called Blame Canada? Question number 9. Ice hockey is Canada's national winter sport. What is the summertime equivalent? And question number 10. How many oceans border Canada? Is it 1, 2, or 3? Okay, so this is clue number 7 to the trivial teaser. The person whose clues you're trying to solve, to try and work out who that person is. This man shares my nickname. So who is that person there? What is the creature that man has in front of him? They share the same nickname as the trivial teaser person who you are trying to identify. And if you manage to work it out, you get 2 points. Does it make it any easier? Hopefully it does. So let's go to the answers now for O Canada. Question number 1 is July the 1st known as Canada to a Canadian known as Canada Day, Dominion Day, or Independence Day, and it is known as Canada Day. Changed its name to Dominion Day from Dominion Day in 1982. And as you can see, the Canadian flag, which adopts the 11-pointed maple leaf, so if you count it, it's got 11 points on it. That was adopted by Canada as the national symbol of Canada in the mid-60s. I think it was 1965. Question number 2. This is a view from Canada's tallest structure. It stands, not lies, in which city? A bit of a faux pas from the question writers there. So as I say, we'll make a little note. If it's lying down, how can it be tall? That is Toronto, as you can see, 553-meter tall CN Tower. There it is there, as you can see on the right-hand side. What sport is professionally played by Mike Weir? That's who Mike Weir is. Mike Weir is a golfer, and he's one of the few golfers to have won a major title. He won a major title in the US Masters in 2003. I think he was only the second person to achieve that feat, winning a golfing major, playing left-handed. And the others are Bob Charles, who was the first one in 1963, the New Zealander, and Phil Mickelson is also a left-handed golfer. Question number 4. What is this small pastry tart called? Considered one of Canada's quintessential desserts. That is called a butter tart. Look how delicious that looks. It's making my mouth water. Just the mere thought of even wanting to actually sink my chops into that lovely, delicious dessert there. Question number 5. Ontario's Alice Munro won what in 2003? Did she win the Palme d'Or, B, the Nobel Prize in Literature, or C, the Turner Prize? She won the Nobel Prize in Literature, and she's renowned, as you can see there, as a master of the contemporary short story. The only other Canadian author I can think who won the Nobel Prize in Literature, he was Canadian stroke American, was Saul Bellow in 1976. Question number 6. What was the title of this album ranked by Billboard as the best-selling pop album of the 1990s? That's obviously Alanis Morissette, who celebrates 25 years since the release of that wonderfully brilliant album, Jagged Little Pill. Jagged Little Pill. Number 7, featuring a bird and a polar bear, respectively. What is a loonie or a toonie? That is a coin, as you can see there. That's the respective coins you can see so far as Canadian coinage is concerned. Question number 8. Which 1999 film featured an Oscar-nominated song called Blame Canada? And that was, yes, South Park, Bigger, Louder, and Uncut. Never really been a sort of South Park fan. I watched 1 or 2 episodes, but wouldn't really consider myself to be a fan. Number 9, ice hockey is Canada's national winter sport. What is the summertime equivalent? And that is lacrosse. Lacrosse is the summertime equivalent. Curiously, when men and women play lacrosse, there are more women, more players in a women's team than there are in a men's team. Don't ask me why, but it is. And question number 10, how many oceans border Canada? Is it 1, 2, or 3? It is one of the few countries in the world, if not probably the only country in the world, which has 3 oceans bordering its shores: the Arctic, the Atlantic, and the Pacific. Okay, so the final round now is on TV and cinema. How are you finding it? Some people saying that the quiz could be moving a bit quicker. You're probably right, but we'll try and make any improvements to try and make your experience playing the Smarty Pantz Trivia Quiz an enjoyable and fun experience. So let's hasten up for people who've got something to do, like watch the paint dry or watch the test card. Question number 1 of the last round, which is on TV and cinema. Question number 1. What brothers created this film franchise? The first of which was this film in 2000. So have a look at that image there. Does it assist you in relation to the brothers who created that film franchise? If it does, you're going to get the correct answer. Number 2. I was a star of which American TV series from 1977 to 1984? Number 3. This is the tagline for which recent film based on a popular TV series? Question number 4. Which actress plays a woman who hits the age of 40 and opts for a sperm donor to fulfill her dreams of having children in the film The Switch? Question number 5. In which TV soap does Robert Preston own and run The Bistro? Do you like soaps? If you do, then you're going to get this one because it's right up your street. Or right up your bistro. Number 6. Which actress plays the adult version of the title character in the film Judy? Question number 7. That's a picture which would take me back years. Who is George? Is it character A, character B, character C, or character D? Question number 8. Who am I? Who is that person you can see on the right-hand side? Number 9. In 1993, Roy Hattersley was famously replaced by this tub of lard on what TV show? And the final question, round 8 of the inaugural Smarty Pantz Trivia Quiz. These British TV shows all first aired in which year? Is it A, 1973, B, 1976, or C, 1979? Do you remember those golden, wonderful TV quiz shows, sitcom shows? Well, what year did they first start broadcasting? Okay, right. Clue number 8 to the trivial teaser. Here I am. Well, who's that? Do you know who that is? Even my pet cat would have got that correct answer. But if you don't, then I don't know where you've been. You must live in a cave if you don't know who that person is. Okay, let's go finally now to the answers. Question number 1, as you can see, the Smarty Pantz trivia, that is Tiger Woods, as you know, born on the 30th of May 1975. That is Eldrick Woods, who made a fantastic comeback in 2019 when he won his 15th major title when he reclaimed the Masters jacket. So, technically speaking, he is the reigning US Masters golf champion. Number 2, so let's go to the answers for question round 8. As you can see, TV and cinema. What brothers created this film franchise, the first of which was Scary Movie in 2000? And that is the Wayans brothers. The Wayans brothers, very, very talented group of filmmakers, actors, and producers. Number 2, Ricardo Montalban was the star of which American TV series from 1977 to 1984? And as you know, that is Fantasy Island. He played Mr. Rourke, and Hervé Villechaize played Tattoo. Remember, boss, it's the plane, it's the plane! And Hervé also played Knick Knack in the 1974 Bond film, The Man with the Golden Gun. Number 3, we've been expecting you is a tagline for which recent film based on a popular TV series? I must confess, I must have been the only person who didn't watch this TV series, but I heard it was fantastic. And that is Downton Abbey. I think is that Michelle Dockery there and Hugh Bonneville? I think it is. Even though I don't watch these type of programs, I'll make it my business to actually know about these programs because you never know if you ever ask questions on it. Question number 4, which actress plays a woman who hits the age of 40 and opts for a sperm donor to fulfill her dreams of having children in the film The Switch? And that is obviously the wonderfully gifted Jennifer Aniston, formerly of Friends. And not a lot of people know this, but I'm going to tell you this fact anyway, so you can mark it down. She is the goddaughter of Telly Savalas. Yeah, I know that. I've seen some of the quotes saying, yeah, I knew that, Sean. Why are you giving me so much facts? Well, I think it's fairly entertaining, actually, for me to actually explain why we've given those answers. And if you don't like it, sorry, you're going to get it. Number 5, in which TV soap does Robert Preston own and run the bistro? And that is Coronation Street, which obviously will be celebrating its own landmark birthday on the 9th of December this year, when it will be celebrating 60 years continuous broadcasting, making it the longest soap opera, TV soap opera in the world. Question number 6, which actress plays the adult version of Judy Garland in the film Judy? And that is Renée Zellweger, which bagged her the 2020 Best Actress Oscar. Judy Garland, obviously, her real name was Frances Gumm, born in 1922. Her obviously big breakthrough was The Wizard of Oz at age 17. And she died in 1969, age 47, surprisingly, in London. Not a lot of people know that. Do you remember this? That's Rainbow. Who is George? Is it A, B, C, or D? A is Bungle, B is Jeffrey, D is Zippy, so B is the wonderfully cuddly George. The answer is B. I used to love Rainbow. Number 8, who am I? Who is that? That is Alec Baldwin and his famous talented brothers. Had his first breakthrough in Beetlejuice and played Jack Doherty in 30 Rock. Number 9, in 1993, Roy Hattersley was famously replaced by this tub of lard on what TV show? And that was obviously I Have News for You. And he was coined, rather unflatteringly, the Honourable Tub of Lard MP, as it was liable to give much the same performance and imbued with many of the same qualities. What a horrible thing to say. And the final question for the quiz tonight. These British TV shows all first aired in which year? 1973, 1976, 1979. That's Man About the House with Rachel O'Sullivan, Paula Wilcox and Sally Thompson. Last of Summer Wine and Some Others Do Them with Michelle Dotrice and Michael Crawford. And they all aired in 1973. 1973 is the correct answer. Okay, so that's the end of the quiz. If people have scored a lot of points, what we're going to do now is to give you a tie-break question. So here's a tie-break question here, just in case. If their teams are tied, send us your scores on the comments at the end, actually, to let us know. So if teams are tied, and I'm assuming that they are tied, so let's play out the tie-break anyway. Let's see how you get on. So the nearest answer will win. The trio of Robert Duvall, Dustin Hoffman, and Gene Hackman were roommates in 1955. How many Oscar nominations have they had between them? Okay, so I'm going to give you 10 seconds to write your answers now. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So that's the end of the tie break. And the answer is 19 in total. Hoffman's had the most with 7. He's won twice. Duvall has won once. And Hackman has won twice. I think Hackman's one was the one I remember most because he won the very first one for the French Connection, playing James Popoy Doyle. And that's it. That's the end of the quiz. Hopefully you would have found it enjoyable. Hopefully you would have found it lively, entertaining, interesting. And I'm going to actually... Is this going to work? Oh, that's the story of my life, actually. I was going to pop these... No, it doesn't work. Oh, never mind. Oh, look. Ta-da! I was going to actually pop those crackers to actually celebrate the inaugural launch of the Smarty Pantz Trivia Quiz, and that went down like a damp squib. But hopefully you would have found the quiz entertaining and enjoyable. And if you did, then I'll see you back here next week, same time, same place, at 7 o'clock. On Tuesday, I'll be having the Sean Wallace Facebook live quiz, as I always do, starting at 7 o'clock, as always, on the dot. But if you can't wait for any of those quizzes and you are desperate to actually quiz, then please, please, please go to the Smarty Pantz Facebook page and you can download the free quizzes which you've got available. This is me, Sean Wallace. Hopefully you've enjoyed yourselves tonight as much as I've enjoyed entertaining you. So this is me saying good night and farewell, and see you next week. Well, goodbye.